Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lorraine, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Alrighty, I'm gonna run it one more time.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lorraine, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Hey,
I like
hey.
Hey. I love that intro. She did a phenomenal job with that.
It's great, isn't it? I'm like, I just be popping my fingers, and sometimes I be singing it even when we ain't on. I'll be like, yeah, let's talk. Love it, love it, love it. How are you, love?
I'm working on greater. How are you?
Always,
You already
always.
know it. Yes, ma'am.
I am well. We are done with the 4th week of the summer bee.
Yes, we
So
are.
only 2 more weeks, and
2 more weeks.
then I may get a vacay.
Well, you know that the 2 more
Where am
weeks
I going?
are home. But you know the crazy part is that fall semester's right there.
Yeah.
So,
It's,
you
yeah.
finish one just to start up another one.
But I think we're gonna get just maybe 2 days of a break.
Yeah, I think it was a week, maybe
Yeah,
2
I think
weeks
it's a week.
before the
I think
start. Yeah.
it's a lot
Good.
going on. It's a lot going
Always.
on.
Always.
So JT is probably not joining us tonight. I think he got stuck at work. So
Gotcha.
thank you. And then we do have an invited guest, attorney. Are you good, babe?
Yes, I'm good. My phone just fell. You said Attorney Akbar?
Akbar. Yes.
Yeah.
A friend of the show, so it's gonna be definitely a lively conversation.
Oh yeah.
So, earlier this week, I got a chance to talk with Leon County Supervisor of Elections, Mark Early, and I'm going to play that interview for us. Okay.
Love it. It's gonna be interesting. What you
It,
talked about?
it was fun. It was fun. It was so much fun.
All right.
All right, here we go.
So,
Oh, you did a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Mark Early, so you are our supervisor of elections.
I am. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing good. I would just want to say thank you so much for spending this few minutes with me. I think this is so cool. I have not been this involved in the election process until like recently, because I remember you came out to my church, Shady Grove #1, and you
Yes,
talked to
last November.
yep, you talked to our kids and you talked to the church, and it's like, oh my God, he's so touchable. I love it.
I was until the coronavirus. Now we're all,
Right. Now it's like nobody's touchable. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's really, really cool because sometimes you don't get to talk to your elected officials in this way.
Hey, I work for the community, and so yes, and I know especially this year, but every year people are uncertain about elections. Certainly this year with coronavirus and the pandemic, and Black Lives Matter and all the marching, there's a lot of activism, which is great, wonderful, refreshing, and we, people feeling empowered. We want to make sure that really their voice is heard, and that's through the ballot box.
I agree. And that is one of the things that we definitely are proponents of on Kitchen Talk is we talk about real issues, we talk about real stuff, and we definitely talk about getting out to vote. We've had a couple of voting shows, and we want to make sure that the conversation continues. So thank you for joining me for a few minutes.
My
I won't
pleasure.
keep
My
you too long.
honor to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So I guess my first question is, what is it gonna look like for us? So I think the first election, our primaries, right?
Yeah,
So
so August 18th, we have a presidential just a regular primary, the statewide race primary, and it's also got a lot of local races on it too. And then November 3rd is the general election. And as you know, in March 17th, we had the presidential preference primary election, which was the nominating process for presidential candidates for the major parties.
so what is as of right now, what is that going to look like for us?
Okay, yeah, so good question. And that requires a bit of a crystal ball, which in today's changing COVID-19 environment is a bit risky. It's kind of murky, but I can say a few things for certain. One is just because, let me try the primary first. It's just because it's a primary doesn't mean only partisan races are on it.
Okay.
There are in Leon County, in many counties, there are lots of nonpartisan races throughout our county. County commission, city commission, school board, those are all nonpartisan races. There are several judgeships on the ballot, and so everybody gets to vote on those races. Additionally, partisan races are not going to be challenged by both parties. So since they will be decided in the primary, they actually appear on everybody's ballot. Examples of that are the sheriff's race. That will be decided in the primary election. So if you want to have an opportunity to vote in the sheriff's race, you vote in the primary election. Similarly, the public defender's race is going to be decided in the primary. And so if you want to have an opportunity to vote, it's going to be on everybody's ballot. So not just Democrats or Republicans to vote. Nonpartisan people will have very important races to vote in this upcoming election. Also, we say the election date is August 18th, but really early voting starts August 3rd and runs through August 16th. And vote by mail is up and running already. We've already got ballots back. I've already voted my ballot and I put it in the mail. So vote by mail is safe. And that's where we get to kind of the crystal ball concept of what is, most elections we know will have lots of opportunity for early voting, lots of, election day polling sites guaranteed to be open, unless we got a hurricane bearing down on us, which we still might have. Please no. But also, yes, Bray, yes. But the third option for voting, and it's a very secure option, and it doesn't depend on, poll workers showing up or buildings being open or closed or who knows what, and that's vote by mail. So we've been doing a very, very big push for vote by mail. I know for a lot of folks, especially in Leon County, because we haven't always pushed vote by mail much here. We've always pushed early voting as a way to get out. And there's, a lot of time period there that if you have a problem, you can get it resolved and you still have a couple of days left to vote. This year, we can't guarantee, especially this many weeks out from the election, that all of the polling places will be open on election day, especially on August 18th. So I'm really encouraging everyone, get out before then. And the best way is to request your vote by mail ballot right now, because if you wait till the last minute and it looks like polling places are going to be closed because maybe, right now our incident rate of COVID is spiking. It could continue to get much worse, and we don't know where that's going to leave us. So please get your vote by mail requests in now. If you request a vote by mail, we'll send you the ballot in just within a couple of days, and you'll have it there. And if as we get closer to the election, it looks like, it's going to be okay, I'll just go vote early and, doing an early vote in person during that. Hang on 1 second, I thought I'd turn my foot off. My special ring. That's my wife. I apologize, honey.
That's okay.
So yeah, if you requested a vote by mail and you decide, okay, it's going to be safe to go vote at an early voting site, you can still do that. That's not a problem. If you say, okay, I've got my vote by mail, I feel like I don't want to put it in the mail, I want to drop it off somewhere, you can actually take it to an early voting site for that 2-week period, and we'll have drop boxes available. So you don't even have to trust the mail to do it. You can put it right in the drop box and we'll have people standing there to make sure it's easy to do. And you don't even have to really get out of your car, or maybe you park and you just walk over to the drop box. You don't have to stand in line and that kind of thing. So vote by mail is a bit of a misnomer. You can even come to my office today or any day from now until the election and either vote here and put it in an envelope and we'll take it and we'll count it, or take it home with you. You can pick it up for your family, vote by mail ballot for your family members, take it back home, and you don't even have to trust the mail then to deliver it to you. So lots of options, but vote by mail really is, at least requesting that vote by mail, it's a good, safe way to vote. It's also just a safeguard and like an insurance policy. You have it there. If things get worse and you don't want to go vote in person, you've got your vote by mail ballot, and you can either put it in the mail or bring it by my office or one of the early voting site drop boxes. Key point about vote by mail. You have to have it to me by 7 p.m. on election day, but that's no different than if you voted at the polls. Your vote has to be in by 7 p.m. on election day. So don't wait until election day to put it in the mail, because there's no way it'll get to me. If you wait, if you're going to use the mail system, have it in the mail about a week ahead of time so that we can get it. Or like I say, bring it to a drop box.
So not postmarked by 7, but actually to you by 7.
In my office by 7 p.m. Yes, that is a key provision of the law. So, and I have to follow that provision. So, but and if you have it and you haven't put it in the mail, bring it by my office, or if it's earlier, that Sunday or earlier, you can take an early vote to an early voting site and put it in the drop box, and we'll definitely get it counted.
So people like me, and maybe even a little older, like, I don't know if I want to put that in the mail. So are you guys doing any kind of extra security measures or anything just to kind of ensure? Is it like I've never voted by mail, so is there a confirmation that comes back to me that says you got it or anything like that?
Good question. Yeah, you can really track all of this. So on our website, leonvotes.gov, okay, we have lots of information for voters, especially when it comes to vote by mail. Well, prominently on our site, first of all, you can go to our website, leonvotes.gov, and you'll see a big icon there for request your vote by mail ballot. That's probably the easiest way to do it. If you're a registered voter, go ahead and click on that, and you can just put a little bit of information in, and we'll send you a ballot. But you can also track your ballots there. And if you do that, you look for an icon that says your voter info. Okay. So it's red, white, and blue. It says your voter info, and you can click on that and it asks you for a little bit of information, but you can see where your polling places are, the early voting times and all of that. But also you can check whether we've mailed you your vote by mail ballot, whether you've received it, whether we've received it and validated the signature or even counted the ballot. So you can kind of track it all the way through the process. Okay.
Oh, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and for some reason, one of the big concerns about vote by mail that people have, it's been in the news, is that there's a huge concern about signatures not matching and us not counting your ballot. Well, frankly, that's a bit of a stretch. In the 2018 general, and this has kind of been going on forever, we received about 27,000, a little bit more than that, 27,000 vote by mail ballots for the 2018 general election. Of those, we only did not count about 24 because of bad signatures, and there was about 24 we didn't count because of no signature. So, it was about 50 or 60, I guess about 50 that we didn't count because of a problem with the signature, and that's out of over 27,000. So that is not a real big concern.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's really not bad. It's certainly a lot better odds than waiting till the last day to hoping your polling place is going to be open in this environment, and then maybe you've got a 4-hour line. We aren't used to seeing that here in Leon County, but this is an unprecedented time, and
Right.
I can't fault poll workers much if they get scared at the last minute and say, "I'm just not going to show up."
Yeah.
So.
And then you're especially doing the social distancing and only allowing so many people in. Yeah, it could take a little longer. But the tracking system definitely, because I was thinking, I don't know if I want to vote by mail, but knowing that there's a way to see if you got my ballot and if it was counted, and that's great.
Yeah, we've got a lot of safeguards in place. And of course, we do encourage people to update your signatures. To do that, you go to my website, leonvotes.gov, and a link, I think even in your voter info, but there's some links for updating your signature. Really what you do is you have to print a voter registration application and sign on the line, fill out some information, sign it, and send it back to us. And that's how you update it. So if you're a young person and your signature has changed even over the last year, I know my kids, their signatures changed dramatically. So if you're going to vote by mail, and your signature has changed, go ahead and send us a signature update. And if you're uncertain how to do all that, just call my office, 850-606-VOTE. That's 8683, so 606-8683. And we'll walk you through it. You can request a signature update form over the phone. We'll send it to you. Lots of ways to handle all of this. So we're here. We're ready to help.
That's wonderful. So, second question is, with all of everything that we're going through right now, especially with the pandemic, are there any creative or innovative new ways of voting that you guys are exploring?
Well, we are looking at some concepts here. Certainly, some people talk about online voting. I am not a fan of online voting. We have to make sure our elections are secure, and I've been on a nationwide study group for a year and a half with the Department of Defense and Homeland Security. Great partnerships with those folks. And so online voting is off the table. Some states are playing around with that, but really that's very insecure and really puts a lot of risk into, Russia or the Chinese or who knows, these different nation state adversaries of ours disrupting our process. So some of the initiatives we are looking at, though, is putting those drop boxes out there at the early voting sites so people can just drive in and hand us their ballots, their voted ballots. For the primary, normally we have the primary early voting open only for 9 days. We're opening it up for 14 specifically because of the pandemic, to stretch out that voting period so that people don't bunch up in just a very limited amount of time. If you want to vote in person, come out early in the process of early voting, around August 3rd, 4th, 5th. Don't wait till the last minute. If you wait till the last minute, you can easily have lines no matter what method you choose. So, and we're looking at doing that same kind of drive-in thing, possibly here at my office. We're still working out the logistics and the legalities, but I think we can put something in place. That's what we're looking at.
And then all of these things will still be in place when it comes to the November general election.
Yes.
Okay.
And some of this may be a bit of a trial balloon for the general, because really things could even be worse in the general. I hate to be a bearer of bad news, and I need more than some people because of my position. This could be with us for a while.
I know. It's scary, and
But, the way you make things better is you get out and vote. Elections and the ballot box is the best example of our collective wisdom at play. We all get out, we all express our thoughts through the ballot, and we tally that up, and we come to a consensus. And so that's the way to express, everyone's common wisdom, is to get out there to the ballot box and keep the ballot in.
Great. So let's just go ahead and let me ask you some due dates. So the last day to register to vote would be when?
Yes, for the primary election is this coming Monday, July 20th. Okay. Our office will be open late here at the corner of Appalachian Parkway and Capitol Circle. It's out near Flies and KFC. They're right there on the corner. It's hard to miss our place. We're right behind that in that strip mall. So we'll be open until 8 o'clock. But you can also go and register to vote if you've got a driver's license online. Go to my website, leonvotes.gov, and we have links there for online voter registration. Just click on that, and you can register to vote online. So that's a good way. Also, a party change. If you want to, say, vote in a specific party's election, for the primary, you can do a party chain, by that same method. That all has to be done by July 20th, this coming Monday.
Okay, and for November?
I believe the deadline for registration and for November is October 3rd, I'm pretty sure. But it may be October 5th, but it's 29 days out from the election. I should have that number in my head, but I look it up. I'm so
And you mentioned this already, but just for clarity, the primary election date is August the
18th, and early voting is August 3rd through August 16th. So don't wait till August 18th to vote. There could be lines, and we could have poll closures. I don't want to say that, but some of this is outside of my control. We've got contingency plans in place to open up, other locations if we need to, and we've got a lot of poll workers kind of held in reserve in case we have to put them out. But, it can be a bit of a confused morning if we have to start doing those kind of things. So I'd like this to be a nice, smooth, happy operation for everyone, the same way we've done for many, many decades in the past. So that means that we need the voters to help by getting out there and either doing the vote by mail or going to the early voting.
And then the general election in November is what day?
That is November 3rd, and we will have early voting open for the 2 weeks prior to that also.
Great. And so one last question before I let you go. So if I vote by mail, how do I get that cool little sticker thing that says I voted?
That's a good question. Yes, we mail it out there, so everybody will get their sticker that says
Yay.
yes. And actually, we're very proud this year because in a time of coronavirus, everything you can do to just help our economy, staying socially distant, wearing your masks, voting by mail, all that helps us get back up on our feet quicker.
Yeah, that's very true. But I think I'm feeling a little more comfortable about the mail, because I was gonna be one of those people that was out there. No, I need to vote. So I can put my thing in my ballot in the little ballot box thing.
I hear that so often. But it's a very secure way to vote. And we're not asking people to vote by now to keep them healthy, because people think, okay, I'll wear my mask, I'm willing to take that little bit of a risk, what have you. It's not that so much. Just make sure you get a chance to vote. If you wait until election day, you're faced with a line, and the whole people in a coronavirus situation. Don't put yourself in that position. Get that vote by mail ballot now.
That's very true. Well, thank you so much for a few minutes.
Always love talking to you.
Yeah. And then you certainly can. I know 9 o'clock might be a little past bedtime.
You're working.
You can certainly catch up on our shows. We were in the office. Just pull up our YouTube channel. You can see it.
I've got 2 computer monitors. That one and my email and all the other stuff. Yes. All right, Lisa. Well, that's great. I will do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye now.
I see you had a great conversation.
It was so cool.
What's up, my brother? My brother, what's good?
How are you?
He's on mute.
There you go. All right. This is a different world we're living in now, huh?
Yes,
talking in my own kitchen. How y'all doing?
Thank you for being in your kitchen. Yay.
No problem.
Back in the kitchen.
Back in the kitchen. Glad to be here. Another election year. Glad to be a part of this conversation. This is an important one.
It really, it really is. Okay, so I kind of want to start here.
Well, let me say this before you say that. It's a very important conversation until Lisa talked about the sticker. You need a sticker, Lisa? Really?
That's an important part of voting. That's an important part of voting.
I gotta let the world know I voted.
You're right.
How you gonna know if you don't see my sticker?
Oh my God.
How will you know, France, if I don't get to post my sticker on social media?
Man, you buy them stickers from China. That's messing with your elections.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
So earlier this year, we did was it this year or last year when we had Jamie on? That was January of this year.
This year.
Yeah. We talked about Pookie for president.
Pookie for
And
president.
right. And so France was saying, no, anybody can't just run for president.
Mm.
And so this week, Pookie decided to run for president. But then he changed his mind, right? Y'all know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He did.
Stick to me. Hey.
Yeah. So Kanye, really?
He
so now I'm on France's side when he says not just anybody can run. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
You've made me a believer.
You go to school for everything. That's the one issue that I have with this election process that we have. Mutaki went to school to become a lawyer. You had to go through that process. Lisa, you went to school for, to become, to get your degree in theater. We all went through that process. There's a leadership degree that you can get, a management degree that you can get. The highest office in the country, you don't need a degree. You could be anybody, any Flo Joe, to run for the highest office. Mind you, we send millions of kids to school every year to become the best and the brightest. But yet the best and the brightest don't actually run the country. Right. Think about it.
I had not thought about it in that way, but you are absolutely right.
So, we have, hopefully the process is that we do pick the best and the brightest to run the country and run, specific things for us. But ironically, it's the opposite. We get since Obama, I'll probably give Obama that. But after that, who would be the next, sharp president that you guys would say? Out of school, sharp, ready.
Yeah.
Who is that?
You said right now? Who would we say?
No, since Obama. Since Obama.
Okay. Well, we only have one since Obama, so
before Obama. A past president who you would say was sharp, out of school, had the not just the education, all of the pieces to make a great leader.
Well, when you compare it to our current leader, I think all of them look pretty sharp. I mean, comparatively speaking,
even Dan Quayle.
Yeah, he made it. Jeb and all the bushes look bright. At this point,
right.
So it's hard. From this perspective, it's hard to kind of say none of them. At this point. But I do understand. I get what you're saying, that it should be a lot more preparation, policy wise, just knowledge based, instead of just the popularity contest. And that's
right.
Exactly. And I understand the popularity contest, and I think the popularity contest should come with just like everything else. Let me see your resume. Right. Let me see your taxes. Right. We didn't even see the mayor's taxes. Yeah. Let me see what you've done. What have you done? Okay, we're not going to pick it off of your educational process, but what have you done to show that you can actually run the country? Have you operated a business globally? What have you done? Show me. Right. And then tell me. If we looked at his resume, really, it showed that it was a lot of failures. And still a lot of failures. So why would we put that person to run again the highest office in the country?
Well, if you do that, then you have to almost start doing some kind of IQ test on the voters, because some of us are looking for that. Some of us are looking at the resume. Some of us are looking at the background. But there are those who aren't.
Right.
So it's a
it's
two-way street at the same time. Come on.
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that that we do more of, and you know, the Republican Party do less of, is like kind of look at the person and judge the person and say, oh, we don't want that person. So when we have you know, like a lot of people in the last race with Hillary Clinton, a lot of people were just like, I don't like her, I don't want her, or the Clintons. And even now we're hearing Biden, I don't like him. And so it takes away from that excitement. So one thing that I've been talking a lot to somebody, you know, to some people about is that I think as far as like the Black community and Democrats, we rather vote for something or someone. And we get excited about voting for something or someone. We don't get as excited when we're voting against. And that's what scares me about this election and even the election before, because it was always vote against Trump, vote against Trump, vote against the Republican, vote against this, vote against that. And that's cool, but that's not exciting. You know, that doesn't get the people who never voted before out there to vote. And so now, you know, so if you don't like Biden, that doesn't mean that you can't find something in this election to vote for. There are 2 Supreme Court justices who will be at least 2, you know, and that depends on anybody else that decides to pass away or whatever. So at least 2 Supreme Court justices, countless federal judge seats, countless federal appellate court seats. Secretary of Education gets supported by the president and his policy trickle down. Healthcare, you know, all these things, coronavirus, we see it. Police reform, criminal justice reform, all these things are, even if you don't like the person, you can find something to vote for.
That's correct.
Vote for in this particular case is all of those things I just named. And so we got to get excited about that, even if we can't get excited about the candidate.
You know, there's a piece where I said this after, actually, right after Obama got sworn in. I said, at this point, we should really be starting to think about the next election. Right. So even now, I think we should already be thinking about the next 4 years. Right. Who are we going to develop, and who are we going to prepare for that process to say, you know what, not only do we like the person, but we like the policies, we like the process, and we like the things that this person is bringing to the table. Everything you name should be something that should have been talked about, right, you know, on a consistent basis. Right. But we're not hearing about that. We're hearing about, don't vote for this person, vote for this person.
Right. So, you know, France, this is one of the things too that I think is that we have, in my opinion, we have a lot of qualified leaders, but they just don't look like we want them to look. And I'm not saying me, you, and you, but I'm saying the world. We can say what we want. Hillary Clinton had experience. She had education, but we didn't want a woman. You know, it's a whole lot of qualified people that can be groomed and everything else. But until the mindset of this US of A changes to choosing a qualified leader, we're going to continue to go down this road that we own.
Right. You know, my biggest thing is that we've run into this situation countless times where we're not choosing the best person, we're just choosing the best because. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have to go with the lesser of two evils when I should be picking the lesser of two greater, not the lesser of two lessers. And I think we run into that situation far too often, and then we get stuck with the short end of the stick, as usual.
Or we don't choose at all, like Taki was saying. Or we just don't choose. We're like, whatever, you know, I don't like none of it, so I ain't even gonna waste my time. And God forbid it rain on election day.
Right.
I'm definitely not going out. And it rains almost every election day.
Yeah. And I think one thing that we've seen this election, I mean, these last 4 years, is that we can't take that approach. It's dangerous. I mean, it's seriously like dangerous for our health. It's dangerous for our livelihood. It's dangerous for our mental health, well-being, all of those things. So if we have that friend or that person, I don't even think we can give them that pass. I don't even think, in the past we would brush somebody off and say, okay, you're not voting, all right, whatever. And we may or may not have the conversation with them. But I think this year we have to have a serious conversation with whoever decides not to vote, because we can't have another 4 years like we just had. We can't.
Right. So Mataki, let me ask you. Oh, go ahead, Fran.
Here's the thing. I've been a part of a lot of voting drives, voting initiatives. I literally traveled all across Florida with Senator Hill. It's just crazy, just to get people out to vote. Here we are in a situation where we can't get out and touch and go, face to face. What would you recommend, Mataki, that we do to, really engage our community to get out and get that vote in?
I think and continue to have these types of conversations. This is probably my third conversation about voting this week. Probably within the last 24 hours. So I don't think we need to get. I don't think we need to get tired of having this conversation, educating people. Like you said, like we need to, like, as much as we can, push out what are you voting for, and letting people really realize, especially locally. So the August 18th election that's majority local. That's all local, and in November we get to the federal. But it's so many positions that affect everybody's everyday life: city commission, county commission, sheriff's office, public defender's office, judge races. All of those things, in one way or the other, it's going to affect you over the next 4 years or 6 years, depending on how long their seat is. So I think that it starts there with the conversations. Until people get tired of hearing it, and then talking them all the way to the polls between the 3rd and the 18th in order to go vote. I think we need to have kind of a positive and optimistic outlook on it, and not like you said, the best of two evils. This don't matter anyway, but let me just go do it. Oh, my ancestors did this, so let me just walk through it. But understanding we have a role to play in it.
Right.
Another conversation I had earlier today as well is that, Black voters make up 30% of the votes in Leon County. It's a huge block. That's so huge that if we are, I don't say like everybody has to vote for the same people all the time, but we have our same issues. So even if we push candidates to discuss our issues, if the conversation in the election are issues that affect Black people, then I also think that'll perk people's ears up and get them out there to vote, because they're hearing things that really matter to them and what's in their household.
So when we hear, this was maybe a month or so ago, when we hear people like Sean Puffy Combs saying, we don't hold our vote until we get such and such and so. Which, when you got money like you got, it really doesn't. You're not as affected as the everyday common man, but you hear them say things like that, and they have following. So how do we combat that?
I think they need to be more clear in what they mean. Like I understand what they're saying is, don't take it for granted that we're just going to come behind you because you're a Democrat. Don't just assume that. Here are the things that we're looking for. Here are the things that we need. And if you can answer those things in the right way, then sure, you have our vote, but don't assume it. And so I think it's a powerful statement that they have to say, we're holding our vote hostage until you all have this conversation, because otherwise they won't have the conversation. I think locally we've been effective in forcing the conversation locally, but I think on a national level we haven't, because the Democrats have assumed year after year after year after year, we got the Blacks. We just need to worry about everybody else. So it's important that they take that position.
I want to really say this publicly, because people like you, Mataki, NAACP, Pan Atlantic Council presidents and members, who actually go out and go hard to have that conversation with, elected officials, future elected officials, wannabe elected officials. Right. You have that conversation, and that to me speaks volumes, because they get to hear what we have to say and what we want. At our last show, that's what you talked about, really, was how important the local vote is. We're talking about nationals, and everybody's thinking Trump and Biden, but really, it's this local vote that is so heavy on our day-to-day.
Right, exactly, and so a lot of the symbolism that we've been seeing throughout the country have been like local legislation. So let's take down the statue. Okay, a city commission or a county commission has to vote for that. Same thing here. We get a mural on the street. Our city commission voted for that. But they're also in a position to do real things, to make real changes, to put in real policies that breaks down the systemic racism that's been there. So we need to force their hand on that, because the president can say some things and do some things, but as far as real policies within our community, that's up to the city commission, county commission, police reform. That's up to the sheriff who's up for election. That's up to the city commission to push the chief of police to do that. So all of those things we need to focus locally to really get the changes and break the systemic racism that's been there.
And so we're actually seeing, if we are paying attention, we're seeing the effects of bad leadership right now. And so it should be burning in you to get to the election polls, or however you're going to do it, to get some of this stuff changed, when you have, governors and different types of people in a pandemic that are saying, you don't have to wear a mask, or I'm not shutting my state down, and your numbers are spiking. I saw a clip today of a representative, a Florida representative. I'm not sure what area he was from, but he was saying that those numbers are wrong, and you're looking at this and you should be looking at that. He sounded like a clone of other crazy people, and he was like, I don't wear a mask when I go to the grocery store. I socially distance. And it was like he didn't care that, even if it was just crazy. But this is like our leaddership. Right. When we don't have good leadership, Walt Disney World opens. When we don't have good leadership, Wild Adventures, I saw a commercial today, Wild Adventures, I'm like, we're open. What do you mean? So,
well, I mean, even with local schools.
Can we get to the polls right now so we can get rid of the bad leadership?
I mean, and the reality of that is also that it's some people that likes that. Some people that appreciates that. Some people I like somebody to say, I don't need to wear a mask. I don't want the government to be able to tell me to do stuff like that. And honestly, they have a right to that. But that's right. Elections. The purpose of elections is to, the majority of people feel it's a democratic society. The majority of people feel it one way, then that's the way that we go. So the majority of people thinks that Kemp is an idiot and he shouldn't be governor, then they should, if it works the right way, vote him out. But I mean, we would say that he was voted out last time, but he was also supervisor of elections and made some things happen. But my point of saying that is that it's okay for people to think differently and feel differently and want different things. And I'm not the type of person to say that, if you vote for Trump or if you Trump, then you're a certain type of person. No, that's your choice, but it's also right not to vote for him and to look for other reasons to vote for Biden or vote for Biden. And especially when it comes down to the Black community. So locally, it's not so clear cut. So nationally, is Democrat, Republican, most people in the Black community gonna vote Democrat. That's just point blank. But when you have local elections and you have this person who you seen all the time, and then I got this person who I'm on the board with, or this person who my aunt went to school with, or whatever. And so we start supporting different people. What starts happening during the local election? We tearing each other down. We going
correct.
Because you a sellout because you support this person, or you black enough because you support that person, or or whatever. So we start tearing each other down. And one of the things that we have to remember is that when these elections are over, those candidates going home. They're not in my church anymore. They're not showing up at the neighborhood, cookout. They're not coming to the birthday party. They're not doing any of those things anymore. They're going home. So we can't tear each other down every 4 years or every 2 years when it's election season. And then we're spending another 2 years trying to rebuild those relationships. And the community is catching hell. And so we need to understand that at the end of it, the goal is the same. At the end of it, it's about our community. You might think person A is going to get our community to that point. You might think person B is going to get our community to that point. And France, you might think person C is going to get us to that point. But we're still have the same goal, which is that end goal. So we don't need to break each other down in the meantime, because when they leave, and they're going to leave, we see it every year. We need to be able to continue to do things in our community.
I think that's probably my biggest piece. Is really about educating voters in the process of knowing what voting is about. It's not about this person or that person. It's understanding that that person is looking out for your best interests.
Right.
They're looking out for something that's going to affect you. And I think we need to have more conversations with our young folks and even our older folks on, what it really means to vote for this person. This person believes in X, Y, and Z, and that's why you want to vote for them. Not because they wear a nice dress, or they got the, he got a G4, or I think a lot of, voters voted for Mr. 45 because, he owns such and such, or he was on TV, he has a TV show. And I'm like, this is the same guy that's not looking out for you. He's not looking out for your health care. He's not looking out for your well-being. If you don't make a certain amount on your tax bracket, you are not even in the conversation. So I think we need to really educate our community on that. Who is going to look out for me?
Right.
And my people, and my community, and my, my area. I don't think we do that.
Right.
Well, I think too, and I think I even talked about this the last time we talked about the voting show, how we just feel sometimes as a citizen, you feel like none of your leaders really are thinking about you. It feels like they're only thinking about themselves. It's like they do so much, but they're just looking forward to the next re-election. Like how many people have senators have been senators for 10,000 years, and yet we are still not in a better place.
Right.
But for some reason it's like they just keep wanting to be. What are you? If we look at where we are right now, and we go back 10, 15, 20, 50 years, it looks the same.
Right.
When you hear during the Juneteenth, I heard there was it Frederick Douglass speech? No. Yeah, Frederick Douglass speech. When I think about Martin Luther King's speeches, when I think of all of it, is still so very relevant to 2020. And you have been a senator or a representative for 10,000 years.
But that's not the senator's fault. That's our fault. Like
that's correct. I was about to say.
I agree with you in part. I agree with you in part. Yes.
And but there is a waking up though. Like I think that's the bright side of it. I think folks are waking up. And so I think that's why we're having more conversations. That's why we're challenging more. That's why, Diddy and other guys are saying, look, you're not just going to take our vote. Let's talk about these things, and once we get past these things, then we can consider it. We're waking up. So you see, AOC and the other sisters that's in the Congress and the Senate now. They would have never been able to get those positions, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
So there's this movement, this progressive, they call it a progressive movement, but it's a movement right now to take the hands out of the establishment power and put it in the hands of the people. And we got to go with it.
Right. So now
I think again, to me, it's the same. If we're going to put the power in the hands of the people, you want it in the right people's hands. Again, people that are looking out for your best interests, for your community, for your, your local, national, whatever. Those are the people who are looking out for you. Because sometimes we think just because they're this Republican or Democrat, they're going to look out for me, and that's completely the wrong narrative to push. I think we really have to start doing our homework, asking the right questions, and then talking to each other more to figuring out who's going to be the best person to put us in the best position.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit too about, like I was talking to Supervisor of Elections Mark Early, and my real concern was, what is election day gonna look like in the middle of a pandemic? So we probably won't be able to do, the full bus ride of souls to the polls, and things like that. So how are we? I know we got to get the information out, but how are we making sure or encouraging people to vote by mail, or at least get the ballot and take it, or whatever? Because if we get this energy up of voting, and I can't do it in the traditional normal way, is that going to be a block?
I think it is. It is going to affect a lot. The pandemic. If it rains, like you said, it rains almost every year. The students are, some of them are home, some of them aren't home, some of them don't remember where they registered. But that's going to be an issue. That's going to affect the numbers in some type of way. But again, the people who are really educated and a part of the process, they've been trying to push it. I know the Democratic Party has been doing a lot as far as getting people to vote by mail, by doing mailers and different marketing campaigns. And the people who really want to vote, they're going to vote. And, unfortunately, that's just what it is. But I think, again, let's keep pushing people. Let's keep encouraging people. Last day to register is July 20th. That's Monday. It's 4 days.
Monday.
If you know somebody who is not registered, nudge them, talk to them, push them, drag them, do whatever you got to do, get them to register. You can still request your mail-in ballot. You have, I think, up until 10 days before election, you can request it. So the more people that are educated about it, I think the more we can educate people about what to do as far as voting.
So tell me how you feel about a online voting process.
I don't see how it works, and I just think it's just too open for fraud and hacking and everything else. They can hack our system now. Imagine what they could do with something like that.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. But I'm like, we did the census online, so we can't vote online.
I was for it. I was for it. I mean, they do American Idol online. So, come on.
Really? And we have a winner.
You got a point there.
We got a president.
And all those people are aware now.
Nowhere. Well, no, not all. There's still a couple that's doing something.
Fantasia.
Well, one of them in politics, Clay Aiken, ain't he like a commissioner or something somewhere?
It's probably so, yeah.
Again, there is too much openness that something's going to go wrong with, especially with technology now, with the hackers, and then two, you could get bought off. These people are paying big time money to hold the position. So again, I think we miss out. There's some type of like a loyalty, not even just loyalty, just ethics, good, bad, just right and wrong. That we kind of lost our way in that. So it's now like I'm running it and I'm running it and I'm doing whatever I want to do while I'm running it. Right. And it doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process. Whereas in the past, it was like, you know what, I'm in this position, but I want to help as many people as possible, that are going through some real crazy issues. Now we're talking about our pandemic, but there's still some stuff that we've been dealing with that's still on the table, that's still a problem. California, the numbers of homeless people are going up, and we got a pandemic going on at the same time. It's just we need more than just the president. Let's just put it out. I could go on all night.
Yeah, we do. I think
I wanted to say that we should do you know how they have the online challenge. JT was doing one recently, do 100 push-ups every day. Or the ice cold bucket challenge where they had millions of people.
A voting challenge.
We should do a voting challenge.
A voting challenge. I'm with it. I'm with it. I agree.
What would the challenge be? Ice water or? We need to do something to get. Hey, once you vote, don't let it be once you vote. Show your sticker. I don't want that one.
Why are you hating on my sticker?
That sticker, man. That sticker.
Why are you hating on my sticker, friend?
Oh my God, that sticker's killing me, man. That sticker's killing me. Something like if you vote, you take a cold ice bath vote, something.
Well, now, why would you want us to be hurt or be the challenge should be something fun or exciting?
Oh, it is fun. It's fun. I'll tell you this. The reason why I said it should hurt a little bit, because if you don't vote, it's really going to hurt. That ice little water that you get is nothing compared to not getting out and actually, getting the right people in place to make a difference. So.
Right. I guess in a normal situation, it would be, I don't know. It just seems really, really, really strange to push the vote and push voting and talk about voting, and we know it's gonna be so crazy come November. I feel like it's. I don't know. I'm scared, y'all.
Well, get your mail-in ballot.
There it is.
I think I have decided that I am gonna do mail-in just to make sure that now that I know there's a tracking system, because I'm like, how I know y'all got my stuff? And when we see reports of what was that this last governor's election, somewhere down there, they got a whole box of mail-in ballots that have not been counted. And I'm gonna mail mine in. I mean, it's like, really, I'm gonna do that? But if you tell me that it's a place I can go that I can see if you counted my ballot, then I'm good. But I don't want to be negative. But it's like, is it really gonna happen? Yes, you want us to do all of this mail-in, but is it gonna be like last governor's election where they sit somewhere, boxes of ballots?
Put on your mask and show up. Or go to early voting.
I know.
Go to early voting. You go to Walmart, you can go to vote.
I don't go to Walmart.
Yeah.
That was
that's the one you're talking about. You go to Home Depot, the children can go to school. Really?
That is what I'm talking about. Like two different things. You in and out of Home Depot or Walmart or Marco Rubio said CVS. You in and out of that store. Them kids are in there all day from 8 to 5. Come on.
Right.
Do better. Come on. There's a better way.
Right.
But I agree with Mutaki. Put your mask on. Do it early. Go early in the morning. Get it out the way. Take your vitamins.
Right. I mean, it ain't no question. I will be voting. Ain't no question.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I'm determined.
For the community. And, a lot of people saying the same thing that you're saying. So my response is you got a few options. One of those options is not to not do it.
It's not to not. That's not an option.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an option. I mean, I'm definitely voting. I just got to weigh out how it's gonna be done. But no, definitely gonna vote. No question. No question.
Unfortunately, we have too many people that pick that option. Mm-hmm. They just don't vote. Right. And that's the unfortunate part. But again, I think it's going to come back down to education. We got to start talking to our people, talking to our kids, just like you said, Mutaki. Talk to somebody, drag them out here on Kitchen Talk. If you listening to us live, please register. Please go and vote. Make a difference. We saw all these people on the street for Black Lives Matter. Loved it. Great.
Loved it. Yeah.
Now this is where you really need to be.
It's the action.
It's the actions. We need you in the booth, not just on the street.
Yeah. So I tell everybody, it's the biggest protest of the year.
There it is.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Right. Hey, let me get my fist in there.
Mutaki, in one of the shows that we've had that I said, that is so true. We don't need to fight, injustice or our police officers in the street. We actually need to do it in the courtroom. Mm-hmm. So, don't fight and go crazy in the street. Put your camera up, get yourself together, get a lawyer, and then take it to court. That's where the real battle happens. And I think the same thing happens with us when it comes to voting. Mm-hmm. We could talk about it, we can watch whatever, talk to our the what they say, the roosters come home.
Mm-hmm. It's the cows.
It's the cows. Okay. Cows. I was gonna say the donkey or the elephant, but
so we got Amber Matlock. She says, I am voting with my mask on. Yay! Thank you. We also had a shout out from a Mr. Hunter. Yeah. To Mutaki. Somebody loves you, brother. Yeah. So our hour has been well spent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's already over. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just like that. Wow.
Yeah, just like that. It goes by quick. But I really appreciate you, Mutaki, for coming on and hanging out with us. Thank you so much. I do think we need to definitely continue this conversation.
I think we should do it again before November.
Definitely.
Okay. I'm down to be honest. The kitchen. Maybe the kitchens will be opened up by then, hopefully.
Hey,
I hope so. I miss my guys so much. Oh my God. And honestly, I almost miss cooking. Almost. So I would definitely be happy to cook when they can come back to the kitchen. I probably won't complain about it ever again. So thank you so much. Shout out Jamal Coleman for helping us in the background, our engineer. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for joining us live. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us. Please, please, please. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor. We will be back here next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Mutaki is a friend of Kitchen Talk, So he will definitely be back. And we will continue this conversation, but it is very important. Have the conversation with your people. As soon as them babies turn 18, get them registered to vote. Vote, vote, vote. Vote is your voice. Vote is your voice. So thank you guys. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
All right.